Now we have moved to the cheese station. Actually, this is our hors d'oeuvres. We have a cheese board, we have pears with Roquefort cheese, and we also have some cream cheese rolls. And Victoria is going to tell us what goes well with these hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
Your own, Victoria.
All right, wonderful. So, well, generally people have heard of the pairing, red wine and cheese is excellent. It's not always entirely true because red wine has a lot of tannins and some are very, very high in acidity, and that might clash very much so with the cheese. So you have to take into account what kind of cheese. For instance, with the cream cheese balls that you have and also the Roquefort, a little bit of sweetness in the white wine, very, very, for instance, with our Guide white dry wine, there is maybe just minimal residual sugar. It's still a dry wine, but you can feel a hint of sweetness, which kind of allows it to cut through the creaminess of the cheese. So it's a perfect pairing. And I've poured also another wine, our Gangun semi-sweet, which is a little bit sweeter, but you'll see how excellently it goes with the cheese.
So both goes with the cheese, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of taste. Do you want it a little bit sweeter or more dry with a hint of sweetness? But white wine and cheese, it's an excellent, excellent pairing. And then especially for most people, unlike the French, that we have cheese before the meal, right? So you want to usually you want to start with the whites and then the rosé and then lighter reds and then move on to the heavier reds. This isn't something that you absolutely must follow. I get this question a lot. Can I have red and then white?
So there is no rule of thumb that you have to do white with salty foods, let's say.
Right. Well, with salty foods, you want to do something that is less acidic. With the cheese pairing, you want to take into account, is it an aged cheese, the fresh cheese, a hard one, or the soft one? So depending on that, you choose the wine. But generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, you can go the fresher the cheese, the creamier the cheese, the whiter the wine. White wine, right? Because sometimes you have heavier whites. You don't want a heavy oaked wine with lighter cheeses. So, but again, going back and forth between whites and reds, you also have to see what works for you. But with the Roquefort cheese, I would really not recommend
Should we
a red.
taste
I think white would be excellent. Yes, let's first.
So we're going with Guide.
Yes, the Guide white
Cheers,
dry
you
wine.
guys. We're going to tell you how it tastes.
So the Guide white dry, this is actually blend between our Voskehat grape variety and the Gangun grape variety. And as I mentioned, it has just ever so slight hint of sweetness on the palate. And then also you can probably smell like the pineapple. Just characteristic.
Now that you tell me about the pineapple, I can taste the pineapple.
Well, the Gangun grape, which is the dominant variety in this wine, is actually a cross between Chardonnay and Ragazzetelli. Born in Armenia, but the parents are Chardonnay and Ragazzetelli. Chardonnay, it's known for its aroma of pineapple. So,
And
Ragazzetelli is a Georgian variety. We say it's an adopted Armenian variety. It's been growing in Armenia well over 200 years. It's mainly used for brandy production. But then Gangun was born from it. Gangun literally means upright in Armenian, and it's named as such because the leaves of the grapes, when you drive throughout the vineyards, you see the leaves are upright
Oh
So
my
they call
God.
this grape gangun. It's
Mhm.
upright.
I mean, I can taste the cream cheese and
Mm-hmm.
it really
it's
enhances.
subtle.
It really
Exactly.
enhances the taste of the cream cheese and the seasonings that goes with the cream cheese.
Now I want you to try the pear and Roquefort with the semi-sweet gangun. So it's much sweeter. It's not a sweet wine. It's much sweeter than the ghee.
I think it's going to be hard to cut it. We can just
Just
get
bite it.
Yeah, just bite to it. I'm just going to bite to it.
Mhm.
So we're doing the armas.
The
Which one?
gangun semi-sweet.
Which one?
Yes, the one you see the color.
Mhm.
Immediately you can see the difference between the color. Now
Oh, yeah, this is darker.
it is darker because
What
This
makes
is-
it darker?
it's a later harvest. So let's say this we harvest in
More ripened.
September. Exactly. This we harvest in October. So it is riper, and then we stop the fermentation. So you have some residual sugar.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love this wine. Honestly, I was never a fan of
Should we
sweet.
invite our guests?
Yes, why not?
They're
The more
getting
the
hungry
merrier.
too. You guys are welcome to join us. Come and join us. Come.
We love to.
Right. I send your menu to Italy. I send it to our winemaker. I'm like, Emilio.
Wow.
Yes.
We are going to continue. Victoria, you're on again. Tell us what's next.
Well, I think the cream cheese balls, especially with what kind of green is this?
It's dill.
With the dill, was just perfect pairing with the ghee.
So which one are we doing now?
The ghee quite dry. It just really helps cut through the creaminess of the
protein.
cheese. And also because we have a little bit of green apple, a little bit of thyme, hints of minerality, very light acidity. It's just a perfect pairing.
It is.
Whereas
it really
with-
enhances the taste.
Yeah,
And the
whereas with
creaminess.
the pear and the Roquefort, I think the semi-sweet is also an excellent pairing because obviously the pear has a bit of sweetness, so it's just a very nice complement to it. It doesn't distract from the sweetness, and it's a perfect complement to the cheese, the Roquefort as well.
And the cheese balls are seasoned with grilled peppers. So grilled peppers, dill, and cream cheese.
And you know, we have 3 different kinds of
Cheers, everybody.
Don't forget to hold by the stem, and then this is the thickest part of the glass, this is the thinnest. So when toasting, hit over here and you get the best church bell chimes. Now if everyone goes left, then we hit each other at a perfect angle, and
And we're testing the girk, guys. You're testing the wrong one.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, this
Get
had
the
the
gear
sign.
too.
That's
Yeah.
why I switched.
Cheers to you.
Thank you.
It's like music.
So are we holding
Right?
it right?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
I love the noise.
cheers.
The
You know,
chime. Oh, look.
yeah.
It's dripping down.
And these are among the many fun facts that guests of ours at ArmAs are treated to. So when they visit us, we give them an experience of the path of the grape to the glass. So they tour the vineyards, and then the wine, where we talk about the renaissance of Armenian wine and the agriculture and grape varieties. And then in the winery, how the wine is made, how brandy is made, modern and antique methods. And then to the tasting room where they have a selection of wines and food and wine pairings, and we give them lots and lots of fun facts.
I
But
can't wait to come and
yes,
listen,
you
you guys.
must. You must. It's
Yeah.
quite a treat. It's quite a treat, and it's only 40 minutes from the city center, so it's very
We would
close.
love to come.
Perfect roads, and it's quite an experience.
Everybody
So,
is invited to ArmAs
Yes, please.
Winery in Armenia.
Yes.
yes, join us.
Actually,
Join
by
us.
Forbes, it was the best destination for wine. There was an article.
Can you
that-
tell us about the Forbes magazine, the article?
Yes, we were featured in Foreign Affairs magazine. Forbes, it wasn't top 10 wine destinations, just top 10 destinations in the world. And then, yeah, we're very happy that actually Forbes has done several features on Armenia, and a few of our wines were also featured in Forbes magazine. The Garmerahut and Garmerahut Reserve got very, very high ratings, 97 points or such, so that was amazing. But what was wonderful in all of the articles, the one that focused on Armenia as a tourist destination, the one that focused on Armenia as a wine destination, is
National
that
Geographic.
and as National Geographic as well, yes, is one of the top 10 food destinations in the world as well. So it's really important that people know that Armenia is a tourist destination, that there is not only the infrastructure and not only so many ancient sites and churches to see, but there's so much more to do there. Certainly in terms of wine, but also in terms of cuisine, hospitality. I mean, people are so surprised when they come to Armenia that it's this gorgeous little European country, you know, in borderline Middle East, but the hospitality is unmatched. So you get history, modernity, and progress, and a lot of sincerity, like jigya. You know?
It's like it has a different essence and different feel
Aura.
of the different aura. When you walk through the streets of Armenia, when you go to the restaurants, when you go to the wineries, there is so much to see, and it's advancing so quickly. Like I've been there 4 times, and every time I went there, I see something different, and I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, me too. You know, having lived there for 11 years, and before and after the revolution, having grown up there when it was during the
Tell us
Soviet
about
Union.
Victoria.
Okay.
Victoria, how old were you when you came here?
So I was born in Yerevan. I moved here when I was 8 years old, and then I spent the next 18 years in the States with a short trip. I studied in Italy shortly, just for a few months in Florence, where I was studying art history, and then I got my bachelor's at Berkeley, which was an amazing experience. And studying art history really helped me in terms of wine. I mean, we never knew that we were going to do wine, with the exception that when my father was visiting me at Berkeley, we made several trips to Napa Valley, and I remember, I will never forget, he had this look when he was kind of observing, and I know his look. I'm like, what are you thinking? Oh, nothing. He didn't say anything then, but only God knew he had this vision, you know? And really modeled it on Napa Valley, and taking, creating fine wines and coupling it with tourism.
He must have a good taste.
He does. I mean, he married my mom. So, but yes, so when my father, he was the first to move back to Armenia in 2007, I followed him shortly thereafter, in 2 years after. We actually visited him a year later and saw what he had already begun. We had no idea it was something on that scale. We thought, vineyards, hobby, he's just taking some time off from being an entrepreneur and getting in touch with the soil and the soul of the motherland. But no, this was huge. So when we said, okay, we want to come here, be by your side and participate. So immediately thereafter, we moved there. I started extension courses with Lucy Davis, which is #1 in the nation for viticulture and enology, to get some groundwork, knowing the work that lay ahead.
So you studied wine too?
I did, just a little bit, but it's a never-ending education, and I certainly plan to continue that education.
I understand you got a degree from Blvd too.
No, I never finished it. So before we moved to Armenia, we were thinking of possibly going into the restaurant industry. So I said, okay, I'll go and I'll start studying. But I made the mistake of taking the 6 a.m. classes, so I had to be out at 5 a.m. So when we said, okay, we're not going into the restaurant business, I said, I'm not waking up at 5.
It's not an easy business, I understand.
Yeah, no, but it was wonderful. I mean, it was very cool. Those few months, I got a real taste and respect for what's done behind the kitchen. I wish I had continued it, but
I watched your speech on Skolkovo.
Yes.
It's a Russian management school where you graduated and you did your MBA. It was such an inspirational speech. Tell us about your school there.
Yeah, that was Skolkovo Moscow School of Management was founded by Ruben Vartanyan, among others, in Russia. It was a huge project involving lots of people. So I got my executive MBA there. It was a 2-year program. It was fantastic, 16 times, and
so
it allowed me.
in Russian too?
No, it was in English. So the professors are from all over the world, including Cambridge, Queen's College, MIT, etc. So depending on what was taught during that module, marketing, finance, economy, etc. And it allowed me to continue to work and study at the same time. So it's tailored for executives. So 5 days out of the month. We would fly to Moscow, 16 times in Moscow, once in Shanghai and Hong Kong, and another one in Silicon Valley to see these different business environments, and of course also to network. I, of course, was the resident wine supplier for every one of our modules. No, it was a fantastic experience, and I'm so very glad about
Nice
it.
to hear about it.
And so, on 2 occasions,
And
actually.
your speech was like out of this world.
Thank
It was
you.
so nice. You could talk for hours and everybody will listen.
Thank you. I mean, the wind me up and watch me go. It
Yeah.
heals me.
You guys have
Yes.
any questions about the other wines?
I feel like every step you've taken, it's like always led by passion. So I feel like that really shines through, like with all your knowledge and
We
everything.
could tell you're
Thank you.
passionate about what you're doing.
By the way, on that note, Kishk, K-E-E-R-K,
It means passion.
it means passion.
That's
So
right.
I always say ARMAS, that's our name, ArmEs Aslanian. It's short from my father's name, our last name, and that's our name. This is our approach, right?
It
So
is,
that's
yeah,
why
good.
I named this geek because
Passion. So you're
Really?
passionate about what you do, and this is passion.
So Armas is named after the name came out off of your dad's.
yes,
name.
Armen Aslanian, and of course Armen is the most Armenian of all Armenian names. So everyone thinks that the arm, of course, has to do with Armenia, which it does. Which it does.
Wow,
so.
that's so interesting.
And actually, while we're talking about the name and kind of the labeling and the brand, I also want to say I'm very proud of using the Tırçnakir for both of our logos, for the Armas and Kirk. The Tırçnakir is the zoomorphic design from the golden age of Armenian art history from the 5th century, and I wanted very much to use the wine bottles as a means of talking about other parts of our cultural heritage. So this is from biblical art and miniature art, and then also over here we have this cross-stone design, so as an ode to our secular history, being the first Christian nation. So all of this and more, we tell all of our guests and our tourists at the ArmAs Estate, and I'm so very happy that, I mean, people are very engaged and want to learn more, and then they go to the Matenadaran, which houses these unbelievable illuminated manuscripts. And of course, this is the Armenian lettering, which we've been a stylized version of the Armenian letters, the same ones of the very unique alphabet that we've been using since 401. So you notice the history of the vine, the wine, the grapes, the soil, but also a lot of the culture.
I was reading somewhere that your wine has won many awards. Tell us about the awards.
Yes.
So you've been in Germany, you've been in Bangkok,
All over.
many different parts of the world. So tell us about that experience.
Oh yes, lots and lots of traveling, which has been an amazing experience. And during all of these travels, of course, you know, again talking about the wines, the history, the Renaissance, etc., and many times participating in a lot of international wine competition awards. For instance, among them, the most prestigious ones like Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, Decanter from London, Mundus Vini in Germany. One of our wines got 92 points and Editor's Choice from the Wine Enthusiast in the States, our Garmara Heat Reserve. So we have well over 50 international wine competition awards and ratings, which is wonderful because it gives kind of credibility to the wine. It's not just saying, oh, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. You have these connoisseurs and you know, very educated wine people from the wine industry giving you that stamp of approval, which in the beginning especially
Of course.
you need, and sometimes people rely on that because they trust these sources. So yes.
So you've
of
been
course.
in the business since 2009.
Yes, I've been running the company since 2010, fully running the company. I moved to Armenia in 2009, had a baby, had my second boy there really quickly in between.
You managed
So-
that too.
Yes, I'm so glad that I did. I call them my future CEOs.
So what else do we need to know about? We're done at this part.
Oh, everything was delicious, first and foremost, I must say.
This concludes first part of our wine pairing presentation. I hope it was entertaining and educational for you. I hope you find it beneficial to you and you learned the basics of wine pairing. Special thanks to CEO of ArmAs Wines, Victoria Aslanian, for such an interesting and educational presentation. Please see the link below for the company information. Special thanks to Eggersman showroom manager James Mccabe and Dana McManus, director of marketing, for allowing us to use this beautiful showroom for our presentation. I invite you all to join us again next Sunday. As most of you know, I release new videos every Sunday at 10 a.m. We still have to pair wines with the main dish, salad, and dessert. Like I said in the beginning of the presentation, I have made a full menu for us. We will also make a cocktail with Garmrahut Reserve, and the best part is yet to come. Please don't forget to join us again next Sunday for part 2 of food and wine pairing, and every Sunday for new and delicious recipes. Lastly, thank you all for your interest in my channel and spending your valuable time with us today. Thanks again and again and again. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and wonderful life. Bye bye.